Do negative-calorie foods exist?
Ever hear that munching on celery burns more calories than it provides? It sounds too good to be true because it is. Many diet fads tout so-called negative-calorie foods like celery, grapefruit, or lettuce that supposedly cost more energy to digest than they supply. But real science tells a different story. These veggies are low-calorie and high-fiber, yet your body still gains net energy from eating them.
Hey everyone, welcome to MindBlown Science, your place for exploring the biggest ideas in science, physics, and mathematics. If you love learning about the universe, from quantum mechanics to cosmology, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our deep dives into the wonders of science.
What are negative-calorie foods? A negative-calorie food is defined as one that allegedly takes more calories to eat, digest, and absorb than it actually contains. In practice, people often point to very low-calorie, high-water veggies as examples. Popular lists include celery, carrots, lettuce, broccoli, grapefruit, tomatoes, cucumbers, watermelon, and apples. For instance, raw celery has only about 14 calories per cup, 100 grams, and is 95% water. People love these lists, hoping that eating such foods will somehow burn extra calories. Celery, approximately 14 calories per cup, 100 grams, and is 95% water. Carrots, 52 calories per cup, 130 grams, and 88% water. Lettuce, 5 calories per cup, 35 grams, and 95% water. Broccoli, 31 calories per cup, 90 grams, and 89% water. Grapefruit, 69 calories per cup, 230 grams, and 92% water. Tomatoes, cucumbers, watermelon, and apples, all similarly low-calorie, high-water. Each of these foods does contain calories, so the real question is whether your body uses more calories to process them than they contain. According to nutrition experts, the answer is emphatically no. Tufts University's Health and Nutrition letter sums it up. There is no such thing as a negative-calorie food. All foods contain calories, and their consumption results in a net energy gain. Likewise, official nutrition reviews note that no evidence supports the idea that any food's digestion costs more energy than the food provides. Even water and ice, sometimes jokingly called negative-calorie, burn so few calories that the effect is negligible and would require drinking dangerous amounts to matter.
Digestion and energy balance, thermodynamics. From a physics perspective, our bodies follow the laws of energy conservation. The chemical energy from food, calories in, minus the energy used for metabolism and activity, calories out, equals the change in stored energy, fat or muscle. Digesting food does burn some calories. This is called the thermic effect of food, or TEF, but it's always a fraction of the food's energy, not an excess. In fact, estimates show digestive cost, or TEF, about 5 to 10% of a meal's calories for carbohydrates, 0 to 5% for fat, and 20 to 30% for protein. Chewing. Studies find chewing gum raises energy use by only about 11 calories per hour, so chewing celery for a few minutes burns virtually nothing. Cold water. Drinking ice-cold water may briefly boost metabolism, but only by a few calories. Research shows the increase is on the order of 3 to 24 calories per hour, far from enough to offset even a single apple. Energy conservation. In plain terms, you can't get more energy out than you put in. If a food somehow cost more calories to digest than it has, your body would have to dip into stored energy, fat, to make up the difference. But no known foods force that situation just by being eaten. As one review bluntly notes, there is no evidence supporting the idea that any food is calorically negative. Put simply, while digestion and body heat do burn energy, that expenditure never exceeds the calorie content of these foods. Your body is not a perfectly efficient furnace, but even so, the net result is always that low-calorie veggies provide a bit of fuel, not a deficit.
What do studies say? Scientists have actually tested this. In a 2019 experiment, researchers fed raw celery to bearded dragon lizards, an animal model with digestion similar enough to humans for this test, and measured all the calories eaten versus excreted. The result? The lizards retained about 24% of the celery's energy. In other words, they gained calories. Celery was low energy, but not energy negative. Scaling up to humans, the authors calculated what would happen if a person ate only these negative foods. Even with extremely conservative, worst-case assumptions, every food still left a net positive. On average, people would end up absorbing roughly 60 to 65% of the calories. For example, eating 100 calories of blueberries in theory yields about 64 calories net. And even if you doubled the assumed costs of digestion and excretion, the net was still a positive 19%. Celery, lizards. Dragons retained about 24% of celery's calories, net gain. Human estimates. Under extreme assumptions, foods like celery, broccoli, or apples still provided about 60 to 65% of calories. Expert consensus. Both researchers and dietitians agree that no foods have been shown to cause a net calorie loss by themselves. In short, the study's authors concluded that celery and other proposed negative foods are not actually negative calorie. They do note, however, that these very low-calorie foods can help create an overall calorie deficit if you fill up on them instead of higher-calorie options. But that's just basic diet strategy, not mystical science.
The take-home message. So what's the bottom line? Negative calorie foods don't exist in any meaningful way. Credible sources agree that the idea is a myth. However, that doesn't mean you should avoid these veggies. Quite the opposite. High-fiber, water-rich foods like celery, lettuce, or berries are extremely healthy choices. They're nutrient-dense and fill up your stomach on very few calories. Eating plenty of them can help you eat less overall, and thus lose weight. But it's because of their low energy density and fiber content, not because they magically burn extra calories. Remember, your body operates by strict energy balance. You burn calories by moving more or eating less, not by eating any special food. As the Science Alert summary puts it, even though these veggies can aid weight loss, there's just no evidence they require more energy to eat, digest, and process than they provide. Enjoy those crunchy snacks. They're healthy and satisfying, but don't expect them to defy the laws of thermodynamics. Stay curious and keep your mind blown by real science, not diet myths.
And that's it. Mystery solved. Negative calorie foods might sound magical, but as we've seen, even celery can't cheat physics. Have you ever tried eating celery or grapefruit thinking it would burn extra calories? We'd love to hear your thoughts, and who knows, your comment might inspire our next video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into the biggest questions in science, from the mysteries of the universe to the secrets hiding in your lunchbox. And if you're hungry for more brain fuel, check out our playlist on Everyday Myths Science Can Actually Explain. Stay curious and keep your mind blown.